Good morning and welcome to the City Biz audience. My name is Michael Millar and I'm here with Helen Bailey, one of the founders and the managing broker of Pioneer Realty Group, which is a real estate firm based in Chicago. They work in both the brokerage side of things with for sale housing. They also cover rentals, property management, and investment opportunities as well. We're here today to talk about kind of the state of the market and things that we're looking ahead in 2025. Helen, welcome.
Thanks so much, Michael. I'm looking forward to talking to you. Thanks for having me.
Yes. So as we approach the end of 2024, why don't you give us your take on what the highlights have been of 2024?
Yeah, for sure. So 2024 has been a really interesting year in real estate. There's always something going on, but I think that the biggest change for everyone here was, interest rates continuing to increase, definitely impacted both the buyers and sellers for my clients. As interest rates increased, obviously, it made it harder for buyers to afford the homes that they really wanted to get into. And then also a lot of sellers chose not to sell their current place, right? Because they've locked in those low interest rates and are, it's a bit of bigger pill to swallow, to be having to buy a bigger place and also at a higher interest rate. The other big change that happened this year was the NAR settlement. So there was tons of talk and lead up to that all throughout, starting even in January. And then finally in August, we came to a head and the settlement occurred. And so, since then, I think that the changes were not as drastic and as scary as we were all, anticipating, but it did definitely impact, how real estate is done. And so there have been some slight changes there from like a paperwork and negotiations perspective. So that was, those were the big changes for us in 2024. Overall, it was a little slower year,
So with some of those changes, particularly on the interest rate side and some discussion that, it made home buying a little bit more expensive, is there a good time? What's the best time to buy a home?
That's a really good question. So I think that a lot of people do look at the market to figure out, how and when they can make the best choice. But what I like to talk more so about is that I think it's more a personal decision, right? When you decide to purchase your home, because if you're ready now, I think that it is a smart move to make to buy your home, whether, the interest rates might go up or might go down, the inventory might increase or decrease, but market changes are completely out of your control. But if you have a down payment, if you're, settled in the area that you want to live, and you're ready to go and you found a place that you like, I think it makes sense to buy, right? Particularly when you're buying a single family home, because that's a financial decision, yes, but it's also, a lifestyle decision, and it's a personal choice for you, your family, and where you're at right now. So that's my advice typically for my buyer clients.
So it sounds like there are benefits. One can make the benefits either way, either, getting to it right now, or, perhaps those who are a little bit more sensitive to rates, holding out to see how they shake out in the first part of 2025.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, and that's something too, you can always hold out and see, like, maybe if right now it doesn't make sense totally for you financially because of high interest rates, you can wait and see, but there's always the chance they might go even higher. So like, holding out doesn't always pay off. People who were waiting in 2021 for interest rates to go back down have been disappointed.
So let's talk specifically about the first-time buyer marketplace. And what would you tell them if they were going to be coming to you shortly and say, hey, I think I want to buy a house? What are some bits of advice or things that you'd want them to have prepared and ready to go?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a really good question. I do have, a lot of clients who do come to me, and I think there's a couple things, right? I think that the first question you want to ask yourself is your why. Why are you buying? Is this a financial decision? Do you want to put down roots in your neighborhood, in your town? Are you invested in your area? Does your family going through some changes? Maybe you need a bigger space, or you really are ready to be able to paint your house and decorate and redo it in your own style versus your landlord's. So I think that that's the biggest question I ask my buyers is, first of all, is why they're making this decision, and that really drives the whole process, because we refocus and we really make sure that stays at the forefront.
What are some of the most common questions that you get from first-time home buyers?
Well, I think that financial questions are usually the biggest ones. How much of a down payment do I need? What's the length of time from start to finish? And I think that there is a big misnomer out there that people think you have to have 20% down to purchase your first home, and that's really not true. Typically a lot of my clients aren't buying with 20% down on their loan. Lenders now are completely used to working with the 3 to 10%. So there's a lot of flexibility in there, and it doesn't necessarily impact buyers as negatively as they think it might. I think PMI is something that people are really scared about, but it usually doesn't add a huge cost to your monthly mortgage payment, and it can make your ability to buy that much sooner, right? Because if you don't have to wait to have that perfect 20% down, you can buy this year, with 5% down or 10% down, and then at least, start gaining equity in your home. And I think that that's a great option for so many buyers, who maybe don't have the huge savings account or, that they think they need.
So shifting a little bit from the first-time buyer, I know you've expressed that you also help people who are looking to start an investment portfolio and may elect to do that with a 2-flat, a 4-flat, or what have you. Are the discussion points fairly much the same with them as it is with first-time buyers?
Well, yes and no. So, there's a couple of different things there where if someone currently owns a place and they are selling it in order to buy, obviously they do have a little bit more of that down payment built into their equity. And then if they're looking to purchase a 2 or a 4 unit building, right, as a landlord, then there's the additional, discussions about what it looks like to be a landlord. What types of maintenance and repairs are you prepared to do? And really getting into that side of the equation as well, and we do a lot of property management at Pioneer too, so I do feel pretty well equipped to give that advice for first time investors who are looking to maybe house hack, like live in one unit, rent out the others. And I think that that's a really great way to get started in real estate. Like, that's how I got started in real estate. So it's, that's my favorite advice to give, is exactly, how I joined this club.
So, and it sounds like with a lot of different moving pieces, that there are a lot of other people that a home buyer needs to engage with to make that process work. Who are some of those people, and how do people find them?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a great team of different vendors that I work with, and I love to give, the referrals out with there. But then there's also, if you have a good relationship, welcome to work with some newbies as well. But I think, the biggest one you want to get in touch with right away is the lender, obviously. You want to start talking to them early in the process so that you can kind of get an idea on, interest rates and credit and what your down payment and monthly payments would look like. Then there's an attorney. Real estate attorneys are required for all Illinois real estate transactions. And so that's maybe not typical if, for other states, but in Illinois, that is a vendor we need. Then you're also going to want an inspector, right? Look at the home, make sure that it's in the quality that you're prepared to, ready to do some repairs, or not, hopefully. And then also you need homeowners insurance. And then I also, a lot of the times, if there are some repairs needed, they'll be asking for, a plumber, electrician, repairman. And that's something that, down the line after the purchase, I can help my buyers connect with as well. We have the property management side of our business too. So we're always, happy to connect you with some good handymen and contractors that can do those repairs, if needed for your new home.
So getting back to that, and with, say, remodeling or whatever, is it a good opportunity sometimes for first-time buyers or even second-time buyers to find a piece of property that may need a little bit of work, a little bit of TLC in order to maybe get in at a lower price point and then build the equity through sweat equity?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. If your budget maybe doesn't allow for a brand new construction home, and it allows you some flexibility. Maybe you can get into a more popular neighborhood, but it maybe needs the space might need like some upgrades to the kitchen or bathroom, some fresh paint, things like that. I think that's a great way to get into a home at a price point that's more affordable. But it is also, there's some added work there, some added stress when you need to do those repairs. So it's definitely a balancing act. Some buyers are more amenable to that work, and some people, especially my younger first time buyers have that energy. They're ready to go. They're ready to do that work themselves, right? But a lot of times my older buyers, who maybe are downsizing, that's not on the ticket for them. They're not looking to do a ton of work to a place. They'd rather get something that's move-in ready, good to go, and nice and rehabbed.
What's a good approach for maybe that older home buyer, or one who's maybe looking at coming from the suburbs back to the city? What are some bits of advice you'd give them?
Yeah, I mean, so in a lot of ways, they're set up more for success than a first-time buyer because they do have that equity in their home. Maybe that first house in the suburbs is paid off, so they're able to sell it and then use some of the money to buy a new place and maybe save some for retirement. And I think that the big things that those clients are looking for are more, they have a lot of questions about moving into a condo building and how different that is, dealing with an HOA, what does that mean? The rules and regulations and those monthly payments, like what do they cover? What are the pros and cons there? And I think, city living is something that can be really nice in, later years in retirement, right? Because you have the theater and the restaurants right there and everything's walkable and, public transportation. So these are the kind of things, the conversations I have with my buyers that are looking to downsize and maybe move closer to the city center. But HOA is, that's a set expense, and it's really not gonna likely go down over time. So it's something to definitely budget for and be aware of, and then the building, how it's run, the reserves, things like that are really important. Because when you're used to owning your own home, single family, that's all on you. The roof breaks, you got to repair it. If the siding needs to be redone, that's on the owner. But you also get the total control of repairing it on your own schedule, within reason. But in a large managed building, like those repairs and maintenance and cost are kind of out of your control. You have voting rights, but you're only one vote. So it's definitely a balance. There's definitely some good and some bad on all of that.
So, and it sounds like that the toughest part or the scariest part for any of your buyers is kind of the unknown, not knowing exactly how much they're going to need for a down payment, how much work is going to need to be done, what interest rates will be. But it sounds like you're able to walk them through all of that.
Right. I mean, this is what I'm doing day in, day out. So I do try to give a lot of good advice and say, these are the potential concerns, these are the potential benefits. Let's be prepared, right? And I really do. I like working with really hand in hand with the attorneys on every deal, and that way we're able to kind of like dig into what upcoming issues might be, and make sure that everyone's going into this transaction eyes wide open, having plenty of information and are able to make a good decision for them.
So where can a potential new home buyer go to look for some assistance, some guidance, and some help in the whole process?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. Because I mean, if you Google it, you're going to get tons of different answers. You don't know what's accurate. Real estate's a really kind of an interesting area. It's not like you can go to a Wikipedia page and find, stuff that's accurate for your market, your neighborhood, your specific needs. Real estate, you really do need to connect with a good broker to get the best advice for your local market. And so, we have a lot of resources on our website. So if you're looking, just want to peruse and see what's out there, get some, some tips, tricks, 5 steps, that kind of stuff, to home buying. We have that on our site. And then we also host regular home buyer seminars, and those are virtual or in person, and give, a new buyer, or, even someone who's done it before but wants a refresher, just some basic info. And we have a lot of potential clients who come to these who are looking to buy maybe in a year, 2 years, 5 years, or they're interested but don't know anything about it. So it's nice to have those sit downs where we can chat more about what this looks like and what their particular needs might be for their new home.
So then the ultimate graduation would be keys to a new home, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, very good. Well, Helen, I want to thank you very much for being here and for talking with the City Biz audience. We appreciate your time, and we look forward to talking again in the future.
All right. Thanks so much, Michael. And thanks to everyone at City Biz for watching.